For those tuning in, we're trying to get John Journey on the line. He is currently overseas fighting for our country. He's in the United States military, I believe. He's interested in coming home and becoming a national federal contractor with a couple of buddies of his, and they sent me a message and said that they're having trouble with internet connection over there, so he's doing the best he can.
With the government construction business or construction business in general. And they're going to run across, they're going to find out that there's one guy out there that claims to be an expert. And they're going to struggle with this idea, it's a scam. If they were right there on that camera, what would you tell them about your experience here in the last 3 days Now, you've already told us, you told Mom you thought this was a scam before you got here, right? What would you tell her?
It's not a scam. I thought it was. I'm very skeptical, and everything he said is very helpful, and it's not a scam.
You got a game plan now?
Yes.
You know what you're gonna do when you go
Yep,
back
game
Monday?
plan.
Barb, same question. What would you tell somebody who's borderline, they're not sure whether they should come or not?
I think they should come. It's good, especially if you have people that you're not sure if they know what they're doing. Bring them, and they can learn, and then you'll have 3 times the business because it's easier to do with 3 people than just 1 person.
David, Mom and your sister were going to come here and leave you home.
Yes, they were.
All right, so you've been here for 3 days. Somebody's wondering whether or not they should come with this. What would you tell them?
It's a no-brainer. Just with this FedBiz Ops, with the FedBiz Ops alone, my mom wanted me to search that site and look for work, and it's like a maze, you know. I'm never gonna get through that. I'm thinking, I hate this. This is awful. I gotta go through this every day, and I gotta go through a million different things, and maybe find one that we can bid on, and then you see this and everything set up perfect, you know. And it's worth it just for this. Just for this, it makes me wanna pursue these jobs instead of like a hassle of going to FedBiz Ops. This
You can say it, that's all right.
and yes, this is great. It's worth it. It's a no-brainer. It's not a question. It's a no-brainer.
I guarantee you, 100% promise you, that you will never have a problem on a federal construction contract that I haven't already had and come up with a brilliant solution for. Do this, and this. I fired a girl, Nora Booth. She'd been with me for 5 years. One of our business processes for the administrator was that before you turn in a bid, the last thing you do before you submit a bid is you verify the number of amendments. Because if you miss an amendment, it's fatal. Now, there's an exception to that rule, and that's only if the amendment would be immaterial to the amount of the bid. But she missed an amendment on a bid after being there 5 years. It cost me $200,000 because I didn't get the job, even though I was low bidder. And I said, you're fired, because I can't risk that might happen again. You took your focus off. So what happened when the new girl came in, Mel? I said, the reason you're here is because I fired the other girl. Here's why. You understand, the single most important thing you have is when you turn in my bid to the government that you verify the number of amendments. And guess what? That girl never missed an amendment, right? So that's a process, okay? So people and process. So we think of this as the funnel. Now, later on in the late 90s, there's a third factor that came into play, which we use today, and that's something called technology, okay? And that's what Bid Tracker came out of. We started developing technology. But basic principles of business is you have people following processes. If you have a problem in your business, it's either that somebody didn't follow the process, like Nora Booth, she didn't verify amendments, or in which case you have to make a decision. The people didn't follow the process. I can either retrain the people, or I fire them and get somebody else that's going to follow the process. Understand that, okay? Or the process is right, okay, we got the wrong person. Okay? But you can track almost every problem that you have in business down to people. If it's a process problem, then you correct the process. If it's a people problem, you either retrain or replace them. Okay? Now, most people think of this as a business funnel, and what do they say comes out of the bottom of the funnel? What's supposed to come out of this?
Waiting for audio to connect. Should happen shortly. Usually people can hear me before I can hear them. Sometimes there's a button you have to click on the other side. At least my experience is with some people. They got to click some kind of multiple different buttons to get the audio to work. But that's okay. We got plenty of time. Even if I have to kick the next guy
there
out.
we go.
Hey, I hear something.
I didn't know it said join audio. No, you had to click all those buttons. Wait,
Yeah,
so does this work?
it does
Yeah, it
work.
worked. Okay. There we go. Oh, man, that was a pain.
First of all, thank you guys for your service.
Ah, thank you.
Thank you too. You're welcome.
I'm so excited to have you guys online.
Yeah, it's the internet here is not the best, but it gets the job done if it works correctly.
Sure. Well, how can I help you guys?
So, we have been, or I originally have been looking into this, and then been talking about it. We want to try to do something that's going to create some better, make us better financially, because currently what we're doing is just we're stuck in a repetitive circle, and it's just we want to get done being overseas, and we think that this could be the next best thing to get us out of this.
Well, guys, if you join my program, I will bend over backwards for you guys.
Oh, no. Okay, maybe.
See, like that.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. No.
Do you have any questions?
Yes. Okay, now we got you back. I don't think we can do video. I think it's
Okay.
too much for the band.
Don't worry about the video. As long as I can hear you guys and you can see me, we're good.
Okay. So, I mean, I've been watching the videos like pretty religiously this past ever since we've started texting each other again, and I've watched a lot of the Zoom initial phone or Zoom calls, and I've seen the pretty much the same format. But Josh, on the other hand, has not. But he does. You got questions and all?
Yes, Sean. Hi. So Joshua Long here. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Josh.
Hey. So I was wondering, typically, how long before from the time that people take your course until they get their first contract? What's the average time, would you say?
Typically, the answer is 90 days. It depends on a few things. Because you haven't seen the videos that John has seen, you don't necessarily know yet that when we turn in bids to the federal government for construction jobs, we're not at any risk, okay? But what I can't control is how many bids you guys turn in. If you're ambitious guys and are turning 5 bids in a day, the typical win rate is 1 in 20. That's typical. I've heard numbers from 1 in 7 to 1 in 35. So, but
Okay.
1 in 20 is typical. So if you guys are turning in 5 bids a day, you could potentially get your first award in a week. What I tell people when they leave the workshop is just focus on 1 a week to start. Just get 1 out. Then let's get
Okay.
another 1 out. And whatever you're comfortable with turning bids in is really I can't control that. I can't, force you to
Yeah.
sit down and fill out paperwork. But I can show you how to fill out the paperwork, and I can review your paperwork and make sure it's what they call responsive. A responsive bid is a good bid. A non-responsive bid is a bid that was turned in incorrectly, filled out incorrectly, or not enough information associated with it. So I tell guys, run it by me first before you turn it in so I can tell you if it's responsive or not.
Okay.
Is that your only question?
Gotta wait for this to
Yeah. I don't know to see if that makes it better.
Hit me, guys.
Oh no, the signal's cutting in and out again. We're kind of like waiting for the signal to come back.
Oh, okay. Just so you know, I'm recording this, and you'll get a copy
We can
of
hear
it.
you a little bit there. I'm not sure
Okay.
how the connection's going now.
I'm recording this, and you guys can get a copy of it. So you'll get good audio of me.
That would be very helpful. Yeah, that would be great. That answers my question for the most part. I think I got the gist of it. You were saying about start with 1 week. The win rate average is 1 to 20. You know, you've heard as low as 1 to 7, as high as 1 to 35. And then you said if the paperwork is correct, it's a responsive bid, and if it's a non-responsive, then it means the paperwork wasn't filled out correctly. I think that answers my question for the most part that I was looking at. And then 90 days. My second question my biggest next concern is, say that we submit a bid, the government accepts it, says, you know, you win, and we accept the bid, we take it. I might be using the wrong terminology here, so just kind of stay with me, you can. And then we subcontract it out. So we hire a company, and then they say that they will do it, and we reach an agreement, and then say something along the process goes wrong where they don't complete the job, it's not done correctly. How does that dynamic play out? How do we remedy that if possible? What are we responsible for?
When you're in my program, you get my subcontract agreement, and it states in that subcontract agreement that it's your baby. If they fail, we write them a letter and say, you've got 3 days to get this thing back on track. If you don't get it back on track, we're going to hire more guys and back charge your subcontract agreement to get you back up to where you need to be status-wise. If you fail that, we're gonna take you out of the picture, bring another guy in, do the whole thing, use all your money to do it, and if it costs more, we're going to turn around and sue you for those costs.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. That is quite a coverage. That answers that question very well for me. Thank you. Because on one of the videos you were talking about, was it because I think somebody was asking something along the same question. You brought up the FAR 28.102, the payment protection program. Is that correct?
Yes, that's all federal contracts are going to require some sort of payment and performance protection when they're above a certain threshold, somewhere between $25,000 and $32,000, depending on which type of contract it is. But I would rather cover that in the workshop itself rather than try to explain that over a poor connection. But yes, there are 5 types of payment performance protection. You guys aren't going to have any trouble with that.
Okay, great. There was one other question. Hang on, it'll come back to me.
That's okay. We have plenty of time.
Yeah. What would be your biggest suggestion, I guess, for people like us who are just getting started? I guess that kind of, let me back up and start over again. Is it required to have an LLC in order to make a bid?
First of all, the only thing that makes you a national federal contractor is a SAM.gov registration. That's it. There's no licensing, no nothing. And you need to have an LLC or a corporation to get SAM registered.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, that answers that question then. What was else? What else did I have? Oh, the material costs, or like the upfront costs. How
typically let's just take, the example I use in the videos, the 200 square foot tiny house. When I contact that guy, he's usually got a 30-day pay with his suppliers. Okay? So in most cases, not all, but in most cases, the subcontractor is footing the bill for the costs, and then you get paid by the government, and then you pay your subcontractor within 7 days of your receipt of payment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There are exceptions to that, but it's rare.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right. I think that's everything I can think of right now off the top of my head that I had.
Okay. Well, it's John, and I got a couple questions as well. Um, do. Okay, so us being contractors over here, not construction workers, but we do other stuff here. We don't have a construction background. Is that necessarily really needed to be successful?
Two of the most successful guys in my program were crawfish caterers prior to coming into my program.
Really?
I just
Okay.
talked to one of the brothers the other day. He said, "My God, we have done $15 million worth of federal contracts since we met you."
Okay, so that answers that question. Okay, another question is, in the course that you provide, do you talk about anything about like basic annual filings or how all that stuff coincides together with winning bids and everything like that?
Sure. First of all, there is no quote-unquote annual filing. There might be some requirements within a specific contract that says if you have 200 tons or more waste on this contract, you must give us a form that shows that you sent it to the correct type of waste company. But that's a specific in a specific job as opposed to an overall reporting to the government. There is no reporting to the government.
Okay. And is this considered like a 1099 or W-2
It
form of
is.
income?
And they will 1099 your company for the income. Yes.
Okay. 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 So like, I don't know when you answer that. Okay. So I was watching a video last night, and somebody kind of asked this question. How many students have gone through your course? I think you said like 110.
Yeah, it might be 114 now. I mean, something like that.
Okay, so with all those students that have gone through the course, are they all pretty much successful?
So I don't know if I talked about it in that particular video, but I like to talk about it in categories, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't just take every specific person of the 110 and tell you what happened. But
Right.
categorically, I can tell you some reasons for failure, okay?
Okay.
And the first one I'm going to tell you is there was this woman, Patsy or something, came through the course about 8 years ago. And then we always did them on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Monday morning, she calls me up and she says, "Sean, can you help me log into my AOL email address? My assistant isn't here."
Oh, God.
Okay? I'm going to tell you that there's been probably 3 people like that who have come through my course over the years that if you can't figure out how to get into your email, you're probably not going to be successful as a federal contractor.
Right.
Okay? That's one category. Here's another category that involves more people. For years, we went across the country and spoke on stage in front of thousands of people. Okay? And every once in a while, some of those people would come down to Austin and go through our training because we were the next shiny thing. Now, primarily who we were talking to, the audience, was roofing and restoration contractors because we were at a roofing and restoration conference. Okay? And so they see that million roofs out there and they go, "Hell yeah, man, I want to be a federal roofing contractor." So they paid us and they came down and they went through our training. But then they left and some of them decided to actually do the work, put the bids in and become federal contractors. But some of them went back to their regular business and they didn't feel like they got ripped off for their money. They just didn't feel like they really wanted to go into the federal market. Okay? Categorically, that's probably 25 or 30 people. Okay? over
Okay.
the years. And so that's the basics. I will tell you that everybody who wants to be a federal contractor and desires to do the work, putting the bids in over time, gets federal contracts.
So it's just the quantity of just consistency that's really going to pay off.
Absolutely. Which I don't think you guys in particular are going to have any problem with.
I will say this, Sean, that being overseas, we work 12-hour days, 7 days a week. But we don't work 12-hour days. We only work 2.5 hours out of that 12-hour days.
Some places it can be more.
Yes,
Okay.
just here, where we're working at right now. So we got plenty of downtime to focus our energy into.
Well, if that's the case, as they say, Bob's your uncle. Just sign up, go through the training, and there's look. I tell people you can run. Look, is there any difference between this conversation I'm having right here and me being in my mother's basement? I mean, as long as you have access to the outside world and you can make phone calls, you can do this business from anywhere.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry, Sean. I did have one other question that kind of sparked my whole interest. What do you recommend for the minimum amount of hours per week that we should dedicate ourselves to this?
Okay, so in the workshop, I describe how I worked 4 hours a week, making $25,000 a month profit for an entire 5 years. That's
Okay.
one methodology.
Okay.
My dad teaches his methodology. Here's how you work like crazy and you build a $50 million a year company.
Okay.
You can do a
All right.
hybrid of both. You can do it my way. You can do it his way. You get two complete pictures of how you want to proceed in this business. I tell people, me personally, that I'm more interested in how much money I can make per hour than I am margin-wise. Yes, the margins are great in federal construction, but I don't want to marry the government. I want to date the government. I want to do short little jobs, get in there, get out.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, and I'm sorry, just one more time. You said about 4 hours is $25,000 a month. You said is what you estimate.
I show people exactly how I made $25,000 a month profit. In fact, in the project management, 90 days after you go through the workshop, I have a project management course, and I actually show my taxes for when I was doing that. And all the math checks out. It was $25,000 a month working 4 hours a week.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That answers my question. Thank you so much.
I did
You're
have
welcome.
a few more.
Keep going.
Now, going through some of the videos, you go through like a 4-step process. You can accept, withdraw, negotiate, or stall. Now, if you withdraw and consistently withdraw,
Yeah.
does
Okay.
that
Time out. Stop. You're thinking about the outside world, okay? In the outside world, you have to have relationships, and I'm not interested in relationships. Most people I meet, I do not like. Okay? If I had to kiss somebody's ass to get a job, I would be homeless. Okay? With the federal government, there's nothing personal. It's one of your options per the federal acquisition regulation is that you can withdraw. I don't care if you call that guy 99 times and withdraw 99 times and it's the same contracting officer. It's still your option every time. They may not like it, but if you're the low bidder, they can't justify to Congress, oh, we didn't give John the job because he's the guy that keeps withdrawing his bids.
okay, so 0 repercussions then. I like it.
Excellent. Very nice. Okay.
Now, also in a couple of the videos, you're talking about during the recession. You got the Great Depression, you got the housing crisis, and then you got our current recession now. this is usually the best time to start doing this because there's a lot of meat on the bone for contractors out there.
Okay,
Now,
I have new information, John, since I've made all those videos. This morning I was talking to my technical guy. I have a tech guy I've been working with for an hour a day for the last 10 years. And the tech guy has been going through the numbers because he's been watching my videos, and he challenged me. He said, "Hey, I'm looking at the actual SAM numbers, and some of the numbers you're talking about aren't necessarily accurate." I said, "Well, tell me what you think you're looking at." He says, "Well, I'm looking at the SAM registrations. It's like 770,000." And I went, yeah, you're looking at the whole picture. You're looking at the guys that supply bullets, aircraft parts, cake batter mix, all the shit you're eating over there. Those are all federal contractors, okay? I said, go down to the actual construction. So he starts diving in, and he says, whoa, you're way off. I said, what do you mean I'm way off? He said, I just looked up the last 70,000 contracts, not $70,000, the last 70,000 contracts, and they were all awarded to 3,300 contractors.
3,300.
So what he's saying is that number I'm using, 25,000, that's the number of registered federal contractors. The actual number of active federal contractors is 3,300.
Holy crap. Oh my God.
That's what he said. He went, holy shit.
Okay.
And he's a Muslim. I can hardly ever get the guy to swear.
I like it.
Okay. All right. I think I'm sold.
Okay, so another part of that question is, this is a great way for contractors to move into during the recession period, but is it still good once we get out of the recession?
You got 1 million buildings out there. They're replacing 50 roofs a day. The answer to your question is yes, there's plenty of meat on the bone all the time. There's always 500 solicitations per month every day. It gets more as we head towards the end of the fiscal year. We call it bid season. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
If I'm not mistaken, it sounds like if I know the government, they're trying to get rid of the money for the next year, so that way they don't have to get less money.
Well, you probably already understand this concept with what you guys are doing.
Okay, yes. I think we're. Yep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but okay. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
That's pretty much all of our questions.
Yeah, that's everything for me too.
But I mean that. Yeah, I'm satisfied with everything. I was going to go ahead and proceed with this, and then Josh was interested, and we just thought, hey, why don't we just team up together and work at this together? Because if I can bid on 2 contracts a week, and he can bid on that's 4 in a week, or 2 in a week, or double the numbers. Yeah. So there's another guy. He's stateside. That's why he can't be with us right now. But yeah, I do. That's everything. I appreciate your time, Sean. Really, I really do appreciate it.
You don't understand. I appreciate your time. What you guys are doing for us over there, everybody who goes over there, man, thank you. Because, look, understand that you're talking to a guy that would never do that.
Yes. I've seen one video, how you say your dad was the vet, but then you don't have the same ideology of it. You'd never do that, but
that doesn't change my appreciation for it.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I don't.
I'm ready for the next step.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next step as well.
This is great. This is unbelievable.
One of the main questions, I don't know if it's the main question, is watching a lot of the testimonials, right? It seems like it's too good to be true.
I don't understand why I'm not the most popular guy on the internet.
This is just mind-blowing. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, one guy said, he asked me about the failure rate the same way you guys asked me about it. He goes, you've taught this to thousands of people. How many members do you have? And I said, I've got about 50 members. He goes, out of the thousands? I said, who the fuck told you I had thousands of clients? I got like 110, 120. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's just time into it, learn the process, and get proficient at. How long did it take to fill out contracts once you get good at it?
To fill out bids?
The bids, yes, sorry.
The paperwork, 15 minutes?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's the knowledge, though, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
Yeah, you're right. The first time it's going to take you an hour. You know, you're going to beat your head against the wall. Then you're going to call me and you're going to say, hey, Sean, how do I fill out this piece of paper? And I'm going to say, you fill it out like this. You know.
Okay.
I like it. So the next step, I've been out of work for 6 months. I tried finding some jobs back home. It didn't work, so I came back overseas. And then, so I didn't necessarily find your Facebook ad, but I found a Facebook ad that bids on government contracts. And I was like, oh, hey, I know somebody that does this course. I don't want him. I know you, and I want you.
Okay.
So
I didn't know I had competition.
yeah, there's somebody else out there, black individual, that does some Facebook ads, and I was like, huh, I wonder if it's the same thing that he does.
I don't have any idea. If you Google federal construction expert, I'm the first 4 pages. I don't have any idea who second place is.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about him. I like you. So, I'm gonna have to wait till next week because I've been without pay for so long.
John, I can't control those kinds of things. I can only control 2 things. You know, it's the only purpose of these conversations is the 2 things: to define for yourself if I'm full of shit, and if I'm not, am I the guy you want to go into the business with? All the other things, I was here last year, I'll be here next year.
Well, meeting you in person, I mean, you showed me how successful one can be, and that's what I want to strive to be for my family and for all of us. So again,
yeah, I forget
appreciate
about
the
that.
time.
You came down here and saw all my toys.
your man cave.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here in the store. I'm like, the money's got to come from somewhere, so he's got to be writing something. You know, he's doing something right. After hearing this, I'm a believer now, so I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been around the block a few times. I passed go and collected $200.
Oh yeah. And a few zeros.
Just a few. But yeah, that's pretty much it, Shauna. Thank you very much for your time. This is it's been great. It's been good seeing you again. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been quite a blessing. I am so looking forward to this. Very motivated now to continue.
Sweet.
On.
I'm happy to work with you guys.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
You bet.
You have a good one now.
All right, take care, John.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.